knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I would slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Welcome to the third hour. I cannot believe it's the third hour already. But anyway, last night's debate, the third and final debate, presidential debate. Who lost, who won? And what surprised you? You?
I know there are Jesse and Coulter, Charles Krauthammer, all of the whoever's who of who, and then other callers who've called in.
Don't be jealous of us.
And you guys are correct. There was a strategy by Mitt Romney to be presidential in bearing so he can win over the women.
Yes.
That is correct. And the moderates and the undecideds, which are a lot of times the same people.
Right.
And so you can say that he succeeded in that. Now, he lost the debate. I mean, that's the fact. He did lose the debate.
How did he lose?
He lost the debate in terms if you're scoring a debate like they would in a high school and who made better points and who didn't come back and who did. He lost by not answering because, Obama is a guy he's only bringing a few things to the table. He's like a guy who's got a few things in his bowl. He's got maybe 2 or 3 things in his bowl. Romney comes with a lot of stuff he can bring. And out of those bullets or whatever you want to use them, he only uses a few. Whereas Obama uses everything he's got.
Obama doesn't have anything but lies.
He comes
and anger.
Or a card game. He doesn't even have a pair. Romney's got a full house, but he plays his hand very, very well. He plays a much more of his hand than Romney does. So technically, he won the debate. Now there's an old saying that goes, "You can win the battle but lose the war." Now the war is a different thing, and that's what you guys are bringing up. The war is kind of like, how do you come off? How do people see you that are kind of wondering and things like that? And in terms of how people see you, yeah, I think you see an angry guy. Obama was like fixed in this weird stare the whole time across the table.
Obama was so mad he was looking at Romney with black anger. I would have slapped him. Stared at me like that.
So Obama,
but then
he looked wrong and he threw some zingers in like, Romney was talking about the number of aircraft carriers we need and then Obama says, well, we don't have horses, same number of horses and bayonets either. It's a new military, blah, blah, blah. This is my main point. I don't think the question is right, who won or who lost. The question is, how much can you win by? George Patton said, you don't just win, you win fast and you take out your enemy very quickly and you make it no doubt.
I do want to say, Patrick, that what happened was Obama had a mindset that he was going to fight a war of, meanness, hard words, and going after each other. He was prepared to fight the war in that manner. And when he got there to the battlefield, the strategy on the other side had changed, and it threw Obama off. And it made him lose the battle because Romney didn't come to fight the battle as Obama thought he was going to fight it. And what a brilliant way to win a war. Don't do what your enemies expect you to do. Throw them off, and you can take them out. That's what Romney did. And that's what kept, besides just being an angry black man, that's what kept Obama mad throughout the whole debate because he had nothing. It didn't go the way he thought it was going. And we all thought, most people thought it would go that way. It would be a shootout. But it wasn't, and it threw Obama off. But
I don't care what kind of strategy you want to use if you're Romney. I understand this rope-a-dope strategy that he was using. But even Muhammad Ali, when he used the rope-a-dope against George Foreman, he let Foreman get tired out, and then he punched him. So at some point, you got to come back to a punch. And Romney, there is no strategy that says, to me, let your opponent say what they want and then don't answer them at all, which he did on several issues, including Libya and Egypt. I mean, you have to answer your opponent. There's people that don't know the score out there, and you must tell them the score.
But the only thing would have happened is that he would just got into an argument about Libya, and did Obama come out right away and said that it was a terrorist attack when he was in the Rose Garden?
Jesse, it's called a debate for a reason. It's a debate.
Right.
But the point is, a lot of folks in this country are not really that concerned about that. They are more concerned about what's happening here, the economy and things like that. And I thought Romney did a good job bringing those points out.
It's a foreign policy debate,
A lot of folks don't even know
Jesse.
what's going on. I understand that. He needed to discuss it, but why waste time arguing with the fallen Messiah about it?
Here's all you have to say. Obama, bin Laden is dead. Romney, Al-Qaeda is alive. That's the answer.
But Romney made all that
Al-Qaeda
clear.
is alive. Wait a minute.
He talked about it in Africa and other places.
He did, but not enough. They talked about Mubarak in Egypt. Was it a good thing to get rid of Mubarak? No, it wasn't a good thing because you brought in the Muslim Brotherhood to take their place. And Al-Qaeda is running rampant. Al-Qaeda is attacking Libya from a base of Egypt. That's all he has to say.
I thought he would bring that up.
I mean, why not say that?
I did think. I thought for a moment Romney would explain that, but he didn't. He didn't even. I don't think he even mentioned the Muslim Brotherhood.
It's insane.
But a lot of this stuff has already been discussed. They've had 2 debates already. It's already been discussed. They have videos out there about this. This is this is the last opportunity that Romney had to get the attention of the female voters, and I think that's what he went for.
Look,
and I thought it was a good strategy. It showed an angry black man, and nobody wants an angry black man in their White House.
Mitt Romney was squishy last night on some of his responses. He definitely was going back to the old squishy Romney. I didn't like to see some of those responses.
I think from the very beginning, one of the challenges we've had with Iran is that they have looked at this administration and felt that the administration was not as strong as it needed to be. I think they saw weakness where they had expected to find American strength. And I say that because from the very beginning, the president in his campaign some 4 years ago said he'd meet with all the world's worst actors in his first year. He'd sit down with Chavez and Kim Jong-il, with Castro, and with President Ahmadinejad of Iran. And I think they looked and thought, well, that's an unusual honor to receive from the President of the United States. And then the President began what I've called an apology tour of going to various nations in the Middle East and criticizing America. I think they looked at that and saw weakness. Then when there were dissidents in the streets of Tehran, a green revolution, holding signs saying, "Is America with us?" the president was silent. I think they noticed that as well. And I think that when the president said he was going to create daylight between ourselves and Israel, that they noticed that as well. All of these things suggested, I think, to the Iranian mullahs that, hey, we can keep on pushing along here. We can keep talks going on, but we're just going to keep on spinning centrifuges. Now there are some 10,000 centrifuges spinning uranium, preparing to create a nuclear threat to the United States and to the world. That's unacceptable for us, and it's essential for a president to show strength from the very beginning.
Wow. Obama looked as though he wanted to spit fire.
Jesse, these are all great points. By the way, this happened in the final third. As I said, Romney came on in the final third. These are all great points. This is what he can be doing the other 2/3. If he would have taken your advice, we'd have no sound bites and we'd hear nothing from Romney. It would just be like a flat line. Because
what do you mean taking my advice?
Because the things that you don't talk back on. If somebody gives you an opening and you just let it go, you've said nothing. You have no soundbite. You have nothing to influence anybody. You must influence the people. This was a great point he made in the final third.
And attacking me is not an agenda. Attacking me is not talking about how we're going to deal with the challenges that exist in the Middle East and take advantage of the opportunity there and stem the tide of this violence. But I'll respond to a couple of things you mentioned. First of all, Russia, I indicated, is a geopolitical foe. It's a geopolitical foe. And I said in the same paragraph, I said, and Iran is the greatest national security threat we face. Russia does continue to battle us in the UN time and time again. I have clear eyes on this. I'm not going to wear rose-colored glasses when it comes to Russia or Mr. Putin. And I'm certainly not going to say to him, I'll give you more flexibility after the election. After the election, he'll get more backbone.
Excuse me. What can I say?
Yeah, it's great.
It was great.
He said Obama had no backbone. That was from last night.
That was
the
great.
third and final presidential
Final third.
debate.